Hi, welcome to the Wardenberg Family Farm. Can you tell where I'm at? I'm in the grow room. It's January and I need to garden, so join me and I'll see you what I'm going to work on this January in the grow room. Well, most gardeners by this time of the year, we've been pouring through our seed catalogs, salivating, ordering all kinds of seeds, getting all our seeds organized, coming up with a garden plan for the year. But that only takes you so far. Then you actually have to get in the dirt. So I'm going to actually get a few things started, rooted, and just play in the dirt a little bit today. Well, one thing I've had growing all winter are my ferns. These are the 4 ferns I had on the front porch last year, and I'm determined to keep them alive, get them healthy looking again by spring, and be able to put them right back out on the front porch. So far they're alive. We'll see if they perk up. And this one's really special. This was my mom's. My mom passed away over a year ago, and she gave me this to overwinter before she passed away. And it made it through last winter, and I'm determined to keep it through as many winters as I can, keep it healthy looking, and have it showing somewhere at my house. Some other things I've had going this winter are Coleus that I snipped and rooted last fall before they all got frozen to bits. So they're doing nicely. Now I also experimented with elderberry cuttings. I just took some cuttings, stuck them in water, and they rooted. So I have a couple going pretty well. These on this end look pretty good. He's alive. We'll see what happens. But I want to have a lot more elderberry plants. If I can get them for free, why not do that? Now I actually started some more, and I think they're going to be rooting within a few days. They've been in here, I think, for 2 or 3 weeks. And I also did some honeyberries. We have 2 honeyberry bushes, and I want to see if I can get some more out of these. I don't know if it'll work or not, but they needed pruned, so I didn't have anything to lose. And I also did, I think they're called Nanking cherries. I know they're a bush cherry that we have out by the barn. They're a super sour cherry, but they're delicious. So I want to see if I can get some more cherry bushes out of these. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to give it a shot. So we'll see. But right now, the first thing I want to do is do something with these Coleus. I'm going to get more flowers for free. Now these are some Coleus I got from a friend of mine, Joyce. They're different than the Coleus that I had grown in our gardens. And they've been going since the end of summer or beginning of fall. And now some of them are getting tall enough. I'm actually going to snip them off, pull the bottom things off, and root another one and get another plant out of that. So cut it off, took all the bottom things off, and I'll be sticking them in water. And we'll see how many other free Coleus I can get. But like, here's another tall one. Anything that's really tall, I'll cut it, start a new one, and where I cut it, it'll branch out. So those that are in there will get thicker, and I'll get more plants. I mean, it's a win-win situation.
Plus it's fun, right?
It's, well, yeah. I get to play in the dirt and do something. And these are so cool, the little things. I don't know what exactly they're called. They're some kind of Coleus, but they're just really cool. Again, take all the bottom things off, and then I'll shoot roots out the bottom, and once it has roots, I'll stick it in some pots. And there's another long one. So I'm going to get, I don't know, 5 or 6 more plants out of this little thing, and I have that whole tray over there I'm going to work on too. So we'll see how many new Coleus I get out of this. It's exciting. Are you excited, dear?
Oh yeah.
Now these are the Coleus we had growing on the farm, and their colors are just beautiful. The dark burgundy, the bright pink, they are so beautiful. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting off any flowers that might be growing, because I don't want them to put energy into flowering. I want them to bush out, get thick, and then I can cut any long pieces off, again, just like the other ones, to get some new plants, to get them to root and give me some new plants. I have to take off some, but I don't want to take off too much. I think they got a nice little haircut.
Are these different than the other tray you just did?
Yeah, the other ones were the ones that were Joyce's. These are the ones we had at the farm. I don't know what the scientific name of any of them are in particular, but they're all Coleus, just various different kinds of Coleus, and they're all just so pretty. And Coleus, if you've never rooted them, they root very easily. You just break off a piece, stick them in water, and within probably 2-3 weeks, you have tons of roots. Put them in dirt, Coleus plant. Ready to go. There's one more. I'll take him too.
And it's low cost.
It's free for the dirt. So you can't beat it. Plus, I get to play. I get to do some gardening. So it's worth it. Now these are all those little cuttings I just took off those Coleus. See, there's the bottoms with all the leaves taken off. All it is now sticking them in water. Okay, and in a couple of days, probably a week or two, they'll have roots, and I will be planting them in pots, and I should end up with 2 or 3 flats full of Coleus to plant in the spring. This is going to be a Coleus place in the spring. Aren't they pretty? The other thing I'm going to do, I've never done before, but I've watched a YouTube video. So I'm going to give it a try. I want to grow ginger. So Donnie got me some good organic ginger. They said to cut it in 2-inch pieces, and as long as it had a little knobbies on the pieces, it'll send out shoots. So we'll find out. Let's see, it has little knobbies. Now we'll see if they actually turn into shoots. Cut this guy off. Oh, does that smell good? Oh, man, that smells amazing.
Well, you like ginger, though.
I love ginger. Now this guy, I don't know if those knobbies will grow or not. We'll see. You have to cut it, and apparently you have to let it sit for a day and let those raw ends kind of scar over. So I'll be letting them sit overnight, and tomorrow I'll be putting them into some soil. Let me get that big hunk over there. Now let's see. There's some knobbies. I'm going to cut that piece off because he has knobbies. Right? Is that a technical term? A bump.
Okay.
And I think I'll cut right there. There's 2 jumps on this one, and I guess 2 on that one. I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to experiment. If I can grow ginger, that would be amazing. Now I want to say something about water. If you see all these jugs of water sitting around, I'm not going out and buying water to water my plants. But I have to get water from outside. I use one of the pumps outside that just gets water from a deep well. The water from the house, we have a water softener, and it would have salt in it. If I used the house water, the plants would not do well. Ask me how I know. Did that a year. So I just make sure I go out and get tons and jugs of water, so I'm always ready to water whatever plants I have growing in here. So right now I have 4 jugs left, but it'll soon be ready to fill up. Now I believe after I let these scar over overnight, I'm supposed to soak them in a solution of water and hydrogen peroxide. And then it'll be time to put them in some dirt and see how long it takes to see some little sprouts shooting up. That'll be an exciting day. So, wish me luck. Here's the soil I'm going to plant my ginger in tomorrow. Ever seen anything like it? It's concentrated coconut coir. It's kind of like a substitute for peat moss. It's great for starting things like that in because it's very lightweight. Now, how do you think I'm going to do that? Add water. And I use very, very hot water. It makes it expand a lot quicker. It grows right before your eyes. And all that concentrated dry stuff soaks up all that water and turns into beautiful, fluffy, moist soil. And I'm actually going to mix some potting soil with it. So it'll just have a little bit of actual potting soil. And then what I'm going to do, spread it in a tray, put the ginger in, and cover it. And that's all tomorrow after the ginger has dried out overnight and then soaked in some water and hydrogen peroxide. So can't wait to do the rest tomorrow.
Something to look forward to.
I know. I think I'll be seeding onions tomorrow too. It's maybe a couple days early, but I'm going to seed some onions too. Okay, so the ginger did sit for 24 hours and got scarred over, and I now have it soaking in a bowl with some water and a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. Supposedly that kills any bacteria that's on the ginger and prohibits fungal growth. I don't know. Can't hurt. Now I got to fill the tray with some soil, so I'm ready to plant the ginger, and I'm going to fill 4 pots with soil to plant some onion seeds. So today I'm actually playing in the dirt.
Don't get any better than that.
Nope. This is the fun part, okay? And luckily my grow room has a floor that cleans up very easily, because I am a messy cook if you watch any of my cooking videos, and I'm a messy gardener. But hey, it gets things done. So I just want to put enough to be able to lay the ginger in, then I'll cover it up with more. Last year we had a huge onion harvest. Let's see what we get this year.
Are you doing the same setup or are you changing anything?
No, I'm doing exactly the same. I start them inside as seeds, and then I think 2 weeks before the last frost, I put them out there. And if it gets too cold, I can always put some fleece over them. But they did like really well last year. So I'll just do whatever I did last year and hopefully it works again.
Of course, you have it all written down. Uh-oh, that's scary.
Well, now I'll have document of what I do. So I can look back next year and say, what did I do?
I think in general, that's the area where I've failed the most. Not keeping logs, not keeping a calendar for things, trying to remember everything.
Yep. So since the ginger still needs to soak some more, I'll go ahead and plant some onion seeds. So I am planting crystal white wax, ruby red, Walla Walla sweet Spanish, and yellow of Parma. I think yellow of Parma is supposed to be one of the best storage onions. I think that's what we have mostly in the basement right now from last summer.
You mean the larder?
Yeah, the larder. We have a really cool video about the larder. I plant these pretty thick. They can thin out and they can handle being thick. That's pretty quick and easy, huh?
And speaking of documenting things, thinking of your larder, I'm hungry for some of that cowboy candy you have on the shelf down there.
Well, we need to have some of that. Have some of that today.
All right, I got it on tape.
Okay. Well, how are we going to remember that there tonight? When we're hungry for a snack. See, I'm not like real detailed.
Yeah. So me just saying on tape there shows I'm an old guy, doesn't it? There's no more tape.
Well, like we're pretending to be young.
Yeah. So wait a minute, how are you planting those?
Just throwing them in, swishing the dirt around, patting them down so they're in contact with the dirt.
What do you mean throwing them in?
Oh, here, I'll
What, you just sprinkling them on top?
Yeah. I just take probably, I don't know, 50 seeds, 50 or 60. Sprinkle them over the top. Swish it around, pat it down.
And those are under, they're not on the surface?
Some are like under a little bit, but they'll come up. And then I'll just have to keep that wet and keep it moist until they germinate. And after once they germinate, then I will put them in a pan and I'll be bottom
So do you
watering.
thin them out or what do you do? They're going to have...
No. Onions, I'll show you when it comes to that point. You just plant them, they'll have this big, thick, nice thing of green onions sticking up. When it comes time to plant them, you carefully separate them and you have these little spindly looking onion things. Stick them in the ground, put the dirt around. It grows into a beautiful onion. I know last year I'm thinking these things aren't going to grow.
Yeah.
They grew.
Okay.
So it worked last year. Hopefully it worked this year. So now I just have to wait until it's time to do the ginger.
Now what are you going to do?
Well, now I'm going to wet them down so they're nice and moist and they'll germinate. This is the best way for me to keep little seeds and seedlings wet on the top. And you just do that until they germinate. From then on, though, you want to water from the bottom. So I'll just come out probably every day or every other day and wet these babies down until I see them really starting to pop up. So now it's just, woo!
So do they need to be under a light?
They don't have to now, but what's nice is these are LED lights. They don't give off a lot of heat, but they give off a little bit. So by sitting these on top of these, they'll get a little bit of warmth. Just enough. That's all they need.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's pretty handy. Now, I think we have time. We can plant the ginger now. So, the video I watched, they just laid it in here, covered it up, and waited for the sprouts.
Laid it in where?
Laying it in about an inch of dirt.
Okay.
And you just wait until you see sprouts. I'm going to
So you
cover it
don't
up.
cover it over?
Yeah, I'm going to cover it over.
Okay.
And we'll see how much of it actually sprouts. This little piece I don't know about, but we'll stick it in. So, I'm going to cover it over with some dirt. And we'll see if we get ginger. I hope we do. I hope this works. I like experimenting with stuff. you know, I just hope it actually works.
So they're all covered over now?
Pretty much.
Okay. Did you get to spray them too?
This soil is really moist on the bottom from where I wet it down yesterday. So it's moist enough now, but I will be keeping it moist as the days go by. Now this is a happy gardener.
All
okay?
right.
Well, I think that's all I'm doing today in the grow room, but I don't know. It helps satisfy my gardening desire. So thanks for joining me in the grow room in January. We'll have to see what comes up next. Bye-bye.